That's the outfit Dan Bonner and I wish we had on up here in the rafters.
Well, we can pass on the lettering on the yeah, that hurt trying to wash that off.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups tonight. Tom Gugliotta, Bryant Feggins, Kevin Thompson. That's the front line with Marone Corciani for North Carolina State. Grant Hill along with Brian Davis, Christian Laettner at the center spot, Bobby Hurley and Thomas Hill in the backcourt for the Duke Blue Devils. Duke 22-5. They are tied with North Carolina atop the conference at 8-3. The Wolfpack of NC State 15-7 and 6-4. And you see Duke has a 4-game edge in a series that dates back to 1915.
You know, Brad, people think about North Carolina and Duke battling for the conference title, but State is only 1 game behind.
They could move within a game if they can pull an upset tonight on the road.
Man-to-man for North Carolina State.
Brian Davis, strong move.
Duke really likes to attack the basket, and I think that's a strategy they need to pursue tonight. North Carolina State, of course, not very deep. Foul trouble can really affect them adversely.
Gugliotta with Hill all over him. And a whistle and a foul as Hill got a piece of Gugliotta who drove the baseline.
You notice Thomas Hill and how close he was on top of Tom Gugliotta. You don't want to give Gugliotta that open 3-point shot. I'm sure Hill felt like he could get that close to Gugliotta and still defend with the drive. He didn't do a good job that time.
Corciani and Hurley. Rodney Monroe touches it for the first time tonight.
Grant Hill matched up against Monroe. That's interesting.
Davis on Feggins. Duke with that tough man-to-man. Gugliotta has it partially blocked, but he's fouled, and that's back-to-back fouls on Thomas Hill.
And that was a foul on the 3-point shot. So Gugliotta is going to get 3 free throw opportunities, and it's very obvious that the Duke coaching staff has impressed upon Thomas Hill the importance of contesting the shots of Tom Gugliotta.
I never thought we would see a season that had so many 3-point shots where there was a foul and thus 3 free throws.
Well, I think that's one of the good things about the location of the 3-point line. You've got to get out and defend the shot. And when you're trying to defend the shot, Gugliotta misses the first one. When you're trying to defend the shot, that's when fouls occur.
So he's still got 2 chances to tie it up. We're just 49 seconds into the game. And Tom Gugliotta, though he is a great scorer, is not the best free throw shooter in the world. 64% coming into this one. He shoots 52% from the field. Finally got one. Cuts the Duke lead to a single point.
I think he needs to shoot his free throws from behind a curved one.
That's right. Davis, who has our only field goal, is going to try another one. This one didn't work as well, and Gugliotta clears it off.
I don't know what you'd call that except an attempt to draw a foul.
Corciani almost lost the handle again. Penetrates. Gives out to Feggins. Thompson in low.
That's not going in the highlight film, but that's what North Carolina State would like to accomplish. Break down the Duke defense with some penetration.
Thomas Hill's jumper outside. And Duke back in front by 1.
Nice job by Duke to get the ball and off to the offensive zone very quickly before State could get set.
Corciani got Hurley up, tried the shot, and then stripped Laettner of the rebound. Monroe for 3.
The impact that Corciani can have on a game is just unbelievable. Laettner is a big, strong guy, but Corciani just knocked the ball right away from him on the rebound, and that results in a 3-pointer by Monroe.
Number 300 on the 3-pointers. Only 4 players have ever done it. Laettner tried to answer with one of his own on the other end, and it's tipped in.
Grant Hill gets the tip.
Tie game at 6. With 17 minutes, 48 seconds to go first half. Brad Nessler and Dan Bonner with you from Cameron Indoor Stadium on the Duke campus. We have our first tie of the ball game at 6 apiece. A big game for both clubs as they look to move up in the ACC standings. Duke right now tied with North Carolina at 8-3. But North Carolina State can move to 7-4 and just a game back if they can pull an upset. And they have already beaten Duke once this year by 6 points a month ago.
Hurley working very hard trying to keep the ball away from Corciani.
Corciani's got it, penetrates, and leaves it for Feggins.
Corciani on that particular penetration got by Hurley and actually drew 2 Duke defenders to him until he finally uncovered one of his own.
Leitner over Thompson, tied again at 8. Leitner's first basket. Monroe, boy, that's a tough shot. Grant Hill will clear it off for the Blue Devils.
And here comes Duke out and running. This is what they would really like to do.
Hurley all the way to Leitner, had it stuffed by Gugliotta, and he kept control of it somehow. Corciani runs it up and guns it in. No, it won't go for it. Still State's ball.
Both of these teams attacking the basket early.
And we have a reversal. Duke ball.
That makes Corciani even madder than he was. Stayed in the man-to-man.
Leitner with Thompson on him. Gets it right back. Lost the handle in the paint. Leaves it in for Grant Hill. Hill's got 4, and Duke leads by 2 again.
Early in the ball game, Duke is doing a nice job getting the ball inside, close to the basket. That's how you shoot a high percentage.
Both teams shot extremely well in Raleigh in game 1 between the 2 clubs. Duke shot almost 54%, but North Carolina State shot almost 64% in that game. Grant Hill couldn't find the handle. And we have our first substitution as Billy McCaffrey comes in. And Thomas Hill will go out. Palmer also checks in for Leitner. Davis, Hill, Hurley, McCaffrey, and Palmer out there for Duke. And Corciani has to run this one down in the backcourt.
Boy, that's a smart play by Corciani. He just screens Hurley off and then goes and gets the basketball.
The play you can't make in the NBA. You can't have a backcourt inbound pass like that. No problem in the college game. Here's Rodney Monroe, the ACC's leading scorer and number 7 in the country.
Duke's man-to-man defense really extending, trying to cover that perimeter. That's a walk.
Feggins, first turnover for North Carolina State. 15:52 to go, first half. Duke by 2.
Grocery Plus is Bergen County's delivery market. We stock a full supermarket selection and offer only the freshest produce, the choicest meats, and all your favorite brand name products. In addition, we carry a rotating menu of freshly prepared entrees. Call Grocery Plus for a free catalog which lists everything we carry. Our expert staff will assemble and deliver your order at your convenience. Grocery Plus wants to show you what convenience really means. You'll wonder how you ever got along without us. Call 941-7400.
As a child, your favorite place was grandmother's house. And now it's your turn to create that special home for your family and friends. An elegant dining room invites feelings of celebration. A great bedroom for a youthful escape. Memories in your lifetime for generations to come. Save 25 to 40% on Drexel Heritage during the winter sale on now at Dover Furniture.
Stadium where Duke leads 10-8 with 15:52 to go first half. As we take a look at the ACC standings, you can see the importance of this matchup.
North Carolina State still with the shot at the league crown and the bye in the conference tournament. Only 1 loss behind Duke and North Carolina. And North Carolina's got to come here to... No, I think Duke goes to Chapel Hill to end the season. I'll get that right.
Grant Hill works the baseline. Tough move, fouled by Kevin Thompson.
Brad, it appears very obvious early in the ball game that Duke is really interested in attacking the basket with the dribble. Grant Hill just forces his way to the baseline. The play right there by Thompson. I think the foul was called against Gugliotta.
Grant Hill shooting 2 for the Blue Devils.
Grant Hill goes to the free throw line.
And again, we have to point out, North Carolina State only plays 6 people. So if anybody gets in foul trouble, particularly one of their 3 top scorers, Gugliotta, Corciani, or Monroe, they really have problems.
Grant Hill had hit 18 of his last 22 since coming back from a broken nose, but came off the back of the iron. He leads all scorers early with 4. Now 5 points on the game. Backcourt pressure by Duke. This is Duke's biggest lead. They're up by 3. Thompson needs some help and gets it in the right hands. Corchiani.
Hurley is really making Corchiani work hard to get the basketball.
Monroe from 17. Thompson had it partially blocked. Tried it a second, a third time. Still won't go. And now Hurley the rebound. Can't have that many shots in close and miss them all. Davis pulls up for the jumper. Fegans ahead to Corchiani.
They've lost Gugliotta.
Gugliotta fouled by McCaffrey.
I don't know that I've ever seen a big guy as good as Tom Gugliotta at getting out on the wing and getting down the court where he's all alone. He's deadly at pulling up for that three-pointer. That time he decided to take it to the basket.
Both his brothers played professional ball in Europe. Frank Jr. and Charlie Gugliotta. And Tom looks like he's got the makings of being a good pro with that sweet outside shot. Good rebounder as well. Well, that Duke man-to-man right in your jersey.
Well, look how far out North Carolina State is having to run their offense, start their offense.
23 on the shot clock. Monroe. Short. Fegans picked it up, had it knocked away by Hurley.
That's tremendous defense by Duke.
That's their forte. Mike Krzyzewski hasn't had many teams that weren't great defensive clubs. 14:27 to go first half. Duke with their largest lead. There's Coach K in his 11th year.
He actually looks pretty cool tonight, and I don't know how that's possible.
We saw him cool on Saturday in Winston-Salem against Wake Forest, too, until Wake took the lead. Fegans with his second turnover.
And that's another turnover forced by the Duke defense. It wasn't 400 degrees in Winston-Salem on Saturday, though.
Boy, it is a hot one in here tonight. The only people dressed for this are those guys we saw right at the beginning of the game, and the Duke student body with no shirts, and the players. Everybody else is overdressed. It was about 75 degrees for a high today here in North Carolina in the Durham area. And that has worked its way to almost 3 digits, I would say, by tonight at Cameron Indoor. There's the steal by Monroe and Corchiani, who bring it up together. And Monroe finishes things off.
Boy, nice touch pass by Gugliotta.
Cuts the Duke lead to a point. Leitner thought about it over Thompson, and now cross-courts it to Kubek, who just checked in.
It appears quite obvious that when whoever Gugliotta is guarding, the rule tonight is going to be take it to the basket. Every time Davis or that time Kubek has gotten the ball against Gugliotta, they've driven right to the hoop.
Monroe, nice move between the legs with a dribble and buries the jumper.
It's very discouraging trying to guard a guy who can do that. You do everything you can, and then you turn over to the bench and you look at the coach and just hold your hands out.
Let's bring it across the timeline with Bobby Hurley.
This is how close you get to the action here at Duke. Everybody's right on top of you. Part of the ambiance of the arena.
Thomas Hill. That's his second basket. And again, a 3-point Duke lead. Hurley and Corchiani going at it's worth the price of admission in itself. McCauley, who just checked in for NC State. Gugliotta almost walked with it, had it knocked away from behind. Loose ball. That'll be another State turnover. That's their third. Duke forces about 21 turnovers a game, and that's something Les Robinson's hoping his club can avoid.
What is he wearing a sweater for?
I have no idea.
Do you think he could just wear a red shirt?
He lost the coat already. I'm sure the sweater might follow. McCaffrey warming up too. 5-point Duke lead. Steets had a little dry spell here.
Duke's man-to-man is responsible for that. Extremely effective.
Monroe, three-pointer. Hurley, another rebound. And ahead to Thomas Hill. tear. With 12 minutes to go in the half, they're up by 7. Ball kicked. And we've got a break in the action with 11:54 to go in the first half. The Duke Blue Devils with their largest lead, 19-12.
There's a new kind of cowboy out there. And that's why McDonald's is grilling up a whole new kind of steak, topped with onions, mushrooms, and a hearty steak sauce on a sourdough roll with a side of fries. And right now, it's a great McDonald's value you can't pass up. McDonald's new grilled steak sandwich. A new kind of steak for a new kind of cowboy.
Fact. Right now, your Ford dealer can offer you dealer incentives and option packages that can save you thousands. Fact. Savings on the best-built, best-selling American cars and trucks. Call it leadership. Call it winning. Call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Get all the facts and all the savings during Leadership Month at your Ford dealer now.
Every business morning, while the rest of the world is getting up, UPS is guaranteeing overnight delivery before 10:30 to the most people, places, and businesses for up to half what other companies charge. And every business morning, more people are waking up to that fact.
Good morning.
Morning.
Back to the ACC in a moment. Georgetown still down 10 with 7:15 to go in the Big East. And meanwhile, in the Big Ten, Ohio State, the Buckeyes, with a 4-point lead against Illinois. Let's get back to the ACC.
Duke on a 6-0 run, and they've done it with some pretty good defense that has resulted in some transition baskets. There, the good defense on the shot. Down to Thomas Hill. That's a great pass by Hurley. Gets it through some pretty tough Chris Corchiani defense. North Carolina State, they have been able to get the transition going a couple of times here on a Chris Corchiani steal. That's the way it starts a lot of times. Good touch pass by Gugliotta. The problem for NC State, Brad, they've hit a cold spell. They're only shooting 5 of 14 from the field. Duke 9 of 13.
And Duke has outscored NC State in the last 5 minutes, 14-4. Corchiani was fouled trying to get the ball in on an inbounds pass, trying to get it up there. Hurley fouled him, so he'll go to the line for a couple. Corchiani's first trip to the free throw line, an 81% free throw shooter.
This is a guy who really wants to have the basketball in tight situations. He's the kind of a kid who's going to try to take over when his team needs some help, and they need it now, and he scores 2.
That cuts it to 5. Under 12 minutes to go first half. Kicks it out to Kubek. 3-pointers too long.
And it's going to go to North Carolina State as it rolls along the top of the backcourt.
There's Kubek, one of the co-captains for Duke.
Look for North Carolina State maybe to try to post Rodney Monroe up inside if they can get Christian Laettner away from the basket.
Corchiani looks to Monroe and has double-teamed himself.
Boy, that's great defense.
Thomas Hill swiped it away. He'll pull up for the jumper.
Now, Thomas Hill made the steal in the basket, and that was a good defensive play. But Greg Kubek created that by jumping out on that screen and disrupting the North Carolina State offense. That's a nice play by Kubek and a good finish by Hill.
Hill, normally a guy that comes off the bench to put up big numbers for Duke. He started tonight and he has 8 points. Hurley has another rebound. 3 on the night already. Dishes to McCaffrey. And he's fouled en route to the basket.
It's all Duke right at the moment. Their defense is creating the kind of game that they need to have, and that is a game where they can get out in transition and get some easy opportunities, and Mike Krzyzewski has to be happy with the way things have gone thus far.
McCauley picks up his first foul, and McCaffrey goes to the free throw line. He leads the ACC in free throw percentage. You can see almost 89%. Puts him in the top 5 in the country, and we set him up for that one. Sorry, Bill.
These guys with heat like this, they're used to concrete out in the sunshine.
10:46 to go in the half. Duke with their largest lead of 7. McCaffrey can spread it to 8. But he can't get either.
Boy, he doesn't miss 2 very often.
Rodney Monroe with 7 points leads North Carolina State. McCauley was open momentarily and didn't take it.
North Carolina State really playing entirely on the perimeter, and Duke is just shutting it off. Nice pass.
McCaffrey had it blocked by Monroe. Nice defense by Rodney Monroe.
I think that was a very critical play. Duke looks like they're not only gaining the upper hand, but getting ready for one of these blowout spurts, and this is just a great play by Rodney Monroe to save a hoop. Here it comes again. Gee.
Monroe shows his defense, known for his offense. Corciani penetrates out to Feggins. His jumper won't go. Thompson tips it in.
Thompson missed the jumper, but that Corciani penetration caused Leitner to come and pick up Corciani, and that's what gave Thompson position inside.
5-point game at the midway point of the first half here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Brad Nessler and Dan Bonner with you. Thomas Hill, he's been the offense for Duke.
And again, he goes right by Gugliotta.
He's got 10, and he's perfect from the field. 5 for 5.
Kubek and Gugliotta really banging on one another. Out on the perimeter, they got to watch that.
Gugliotta has yet to hit a field goal.
Oh, why is he dribbling the ball? Oh, my.
Turnover for turnover. Corciani with a left hand.
Oh.
It's a tough kid. 5-point game again. 23-18 Duke. In the first game back January 23rd, North Carolina State led from wire to wire. Corciani fouled Hurley outside. 2-point shot, so 2 free throws.
Well, in the first ball game between these two squads, Bobby Hurley hit 6 of 8 from 3-point range, so you know he got Chris Corciani's attention. Probably got Les's attention, too.
Les Robinson's team known to shoot their 3-pointers. Last year at East Tennessee State, they were number 2 in the country in 3-pointers. This North Carolina State club number 3 in the nation, hitting the 3s. Bobby Hurley scoreless to this point. But he has 5 assists and 3 rebounds, and now he's in the scoring column for the first time tonight. 6-foot sophomore from Jersey City, New Jersey. There you see 11th in the country in assists, 2nd in the conference to Corciani. Bobby Hurley again makes it a Duke lead of 7. Under 9 minutes to go in the half. Nice pass to Gugliotta. He's fouled by Leitner. Leitner's been quiet. He had 1 field goal early. We haven't called his name much.
Well, we haven't called his name much, Brad, because, and here North Carolina State gets inside the Duke defense, something they haven't been able to do. Duke not really having a chance to set the defense. But the reason we haven't called Leitner's number much is most of the defensive activity has been on the perimeter and on the offensive end. Duke has been able to play very well in transition. Leitner, while he can run the court very well, is really an effective weapon in the half-court offense, and Duke hasn't had to go to that option.
You're right. Tom Gugliotta's got to find a different spot in that free throw circle. Feggins, he can't get it. State is ice cold. Grant Hill. 7 for the freshman, and the lead is 9.
Duke really aggressively pushing the ball up the court is causing all kinds of problems for North Carolina State.
Corciani runs into traffic, and Davis stripped it from him. 3-on-2. Thomas Hill again. Gugliotta took everything but his jersey off.
Corciani really is in trouble there. He's surrounded by 4 Duke players. Davis comes up with the basketball, handles the ball very well in the middle of the fast break, and Gugliotta is going to get his money's worth right there.
Robert Palmer checks back in for Duke. Joins Grant Hill, Thomas Hill, Bobby Hurley, and Brian Davis in the Duke lineup. Thomas Hill, a 6'4" sophomore, averaging almost 12 points a game, and he has 11 right now. It was interesting that he started the game. We talked about this a little bit earlier. He's normally the instant offense off the bench. In fact, Duke is 8-1 when he comes off the bench. They don't have that great a record when he's a starter, but he has really lit it up here early for the Duke Blue Devils. Now he's got a dozen. An 11-point Duke lead. It's a good thing North Carolina State knows how to shoot those threes, Dan. They might need them a lot earlier than we expected.
Well, they know how to shoot them, Brad, but they haven't been able to get any of them. The Duke defense on the perimeter has been outstanding.
Another turnover. A 6-0 Duke run right now could turn into 8 right here. And done.
What a great catch. What a great catch.
Timeout. 7:49 to play in the first half. And Duke has run it up to a 13-point lead at 31-18.
Yo, Mars Blackman, here with the lattice lamp. I am the genie on the lamp. I'm granting you just one wish.
What should I wish for? Do you know?
$1 million?
Nah, tax problem.
A new car?
Can't drive. I got it.
A wop bam bam boom!
Look, Mom, I can fly. I like that, Genie.
I am the greatest.
Always exciting, always something new.
It's about that time when you need to get away.
Always an adventure, always something to do.
Where you can get the most fun. It's easy to get to.
Always entertaining.
And time's what they are. You want the best value on a vacation. You must have been thinking Las Vegas.
Always on the money. Las Vegas, always on the money.
Fact. The full-size Ford pickup has more repeat buyers than any other pickup. Fact. The full-size Ford pickup sales lead over Chevy is wider than last year. Fact. Our most popular model is priced $600 less than a comparably equipped Chevy. Call it leadership, call it winning, call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Save now during Leadership Month at your Ford dealer.
He leaps, he makes the catch. 379 in the corner.
Once again this season, if it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN.
Back at Duke, where the Blue Devils are shooting 68% from the field. North Carolina State only 37%.
And as is always the case when Duke shoots the ball that well, it's their defense that creates offensive opportunities. There's the pickoff by Brian Davis, and then attacking aggressively. Look at that pass by Hurley. A great catch by Grant Hill. Gets the ball inside for the two. It's tough to shoot the ball effectively when you're playing against the kind of defense that Duke is throwing at North Carolina State tonight.
That assist by Hurley, 1 of 7 on the night. 13-point Duke lead. Largest margin of the ball game.
NC State continually catching the ball over by the sideline.
They continue to switch defenders on Rodney Monroe. Feggins finally hits one in close.
Don't often see Chris Corchiani post up, but he did that.
Hurley may be the only guy other than Derek McQueen in the conference that he could have a height advantage on. Thompson clears it ahead to Corchiani. Feggins on his right flank. Takes it all away, and he's fouled by Palmer. Feggins back-to-back buckets. And a chance for a three-point play. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Raycom Sports and Entertainment and JP Sports. And the use of this broadcast without the express permission of Raycom and JP Sports is prohibited. Brad Nessler and Dan Bonner, Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham, North Carolina, where Duke leads by 9 over North Carolina State, 31-22, with 7:04 to go in the first half. And Bryant Feggins, big sophomore, with a chance for a three-point play. He's got 7. That ties Monroe for top honors for NC State.
North Carolina State staying with the man-to-man defense. Had a defensive switch, though. Rodney Monroe now matched up against Thomas Hill rather than Gugliotta.
Leitner, tough cross-court pass, but Hurley brought it down and got it into Davis. And it's stripped by Thompson.
Actually, he turned around and had it stripped by Corciani, and that's what's going to happen when you put the ball anywhere close to him. Offensive foul on Gugliotta.
Gugliotta, can't believe it. That's his second. Let's take another look.
Corciani barely is able to recover this ball, and here's Grant Hill with good pressure against Gugliotta. You just can't slap the guy like that. Now, Grant Hill does have his hands on Gugliotta, but you simply can't slap like that. 3 personal fouls.
Leitner in low, backs in on Thompson. Corciani got a piece of it.
He got stepped on for his efforts.
Hurley for 3. His first field goal puts Duke back in front by 11. Monroe works free for a jumper. Tough shot, and Leitner clears it off. Ahead to Davis. Foul inside. It's going to go on Grant Hill. Corciani talking things over with Larry Lembo, one of our officials.
Number 32, that's his second. 17 foul.
I think maybe he's going to go to law school or something after. Maybe be a lobbyist.
He should be the captain of the debate team, if nothing else.
We'll get back to the ACC in just a moment. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Big Ten, Ohio State trying to win their 6th straight at Illinois. Dick Morton and Steve Kelly.
We're at the Assembly Hall in Champaign, Illinois. The number 2 ranked team in the country, the Buckeyes of Ohio State, leading a Fighting Illini by 4. It's been a seesaw battle, and it's been a good one so far. Brown out to Jackson in front. Here's Jet with the only 3-point basket in the game. Brown in the corner to Jackson in front. The Illini in that zone has been tough, but Carter gets loose and misses the slam. And the Illini come away with the ball as Rennie Clemens works with it on the side. Oh, good move by Clemens on the dribble. Goes for the shot, and a foul on Chris Gent.
Boy, the Illini just cannot get those layups to fall, but Chris Gent took the fall there as he's picked up for the foul. Clemens will go to the line. They had a good chance for a 3-point play there, but again, the shot's just not falling. You'll see some of Rennie Clemens' quickness here as he fakes left, goes right, blows right by Jackson. Couldn't get the shot to fall, but Rennie will get a chance to nail a couple of foul shots. Illinois, Dick, is just getting to the point they can't seem to get over the hump here. They trail by 4. They get it down to 2, but they can't seem to get it any closer than that. But they're hanging tough.
Rennie Clemens, the freshman out of Springfield, Illinois, misses the free throw, and he's had his problems at the line tonight. He could have made some free throws. Illinois would be leading the ball game. Clemens makes that one. And it's 59-56, Ohio State. Jamel Brown moving it across. The Illini out of the zone and into the man-to-man on this sequence now. Brown picking up the dribble and Kaufman all over him. Gets it to Jackson in the corner. Treg Lee has it out on the high post. 4 minutes, 38 seconds to go in the game. Brown will pull up for one from way outside, and it's going to be a 3-point basket by Brown. The crowd doesn't think so, but Sam Licklider was right there on the spot and saw the feet outside the 3-point circle. 62-56, Ohio State. Larry Smith. This is against Jim Jackson now. Gets it off to Clemens. Illinois playing without Deion Thomas. He has not played at all tonight because of an ankle injury. And that certainly has taken away a lot of the offensive punch. Larry Smith trying to work on the dribble. Backing in there against Baker outside. Slapped away. Picked out by Brown. Here's Jackson on the drive. And was that some type of a slam? Jimmy Jackson, his
We will keep you updated as the Buckeyes try and wrap up a Big Ten title. Meantime, back to the ACC. NC State in Durham to face Duke, ranked number 7. Let's get back.
Grant Hill, as many of you know, the son of former NFL great Calvin Hill, who's now the vice president of the Baltimore Orioles. Carolina State run in the last couple of minutes has made it a much closer game than we had when it was a 13-point Duke lead at one stretch. And there's what's happened here in the last 2:10.
And it's been an important 2:10 for North Carolina State. They've done it without Gugliotta.
Corciani tried to feed in low. Nobody helped him. Somebody's got to either go to the ball or the hoop, and Thompson and Feggins are both just kind of standing there.
Corciani got the defense off their feet. He had a good lane to the basket, but he threw it behind Kevin Thompson.
10 turnovers against North Carolina State, Dan.
And in ACC competition, they only average 11 per game.
Leitner rattles one home.
So you know the Duke defense is bothering him.
They can't get Rodney Monroe freed up for his patented jumper. He's right there on the bottom of your screen. Corciani wants to get it to him and can't.
The guy who's guarding Monroe, in this case Grant Hill, just not playing any help defense at all. He's guarding Monroe, period.
Here comes a 3-on-2 for Duke. Grant Hill fouled as he went up by Monroe.
That was not very good defense by the Wolfpack in that 3-on-2 situation. But when you're running back trying to defend the basket the entire ball game, as Les Robinson's crew has had to do in this game, it's awfully difficult to play good defense in transition every time.
Les leaves that sweater on. He's going to be about 12 pounds lighter when this game's over. What would you say it is in here, 90?
Well, it is. I would say 90 is a conservative estimate.
Grant Hill back at the line.
If he leaves that sweater on the entire game, he may not be able to get it off. But his family probably won't let him in the house unless he does.
That's true. Hill, a 64% free throw shooter. Grant Hill with 11 points. The lead is 10 for Duke. 3:45 to go first half.
Monroe can catch the ball, but he catches it out by half court. That's been his only real option today, is to penetrate with the dribble. That time he draws the foul from Grant Hill.
Grant Hill may have to sit on now.
Grant Hill, that's his second.
Checking, it's only his second foul. I thought it was his third.
Rodney Monroe shooting 1 and 1.
Rodney Monroe goes to the free throw line.
And here's one of the things that Mike Krzyzewski can do, as you see Brian Davis coming in the ball game. He works Davis against Monroe for a little while, then Hill. He can use McCaffrey or Kubek. He's just got a lot of options to keep the pressure on Rodney Monroe.
Krzyzewski's got 9 legitimate players. Well, all of them are legitimate players, but I mean the bench is deeper than really most people you're going to find around not only this conference but elsewhere around the country. That's Rodney Monroe's first point in a long time. Came in with 2,327 points.
North Carolina State, among other things, has really hurt themselves from the line in this half, Brad.
The Duke lead is 9. Early wants to get it to Leitner.
This is something we haven't seen too much of from Duke, and that is the half-court offense.
McCauley knocks it away from Leitner. Still Duke ball with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half. Duke Blue Devils at home leading 38-29.
Discover the Drexel Heritage Difference during the winter sale at Dover Furniture. Discover a world of exciting interior fashion and furnishings. Save from 25 to 40% on beautifully crafted living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, and accessories during this very special after the holidays sale. Your satisfaction means everything to us. Our designers are standing by to help you create the home of your dreams during the winter sale. On now at Dover Furniture with savings to 40% off.
This is an invitation to discover Passaic County Community College and to discover your possibilities. Just bring your dreams and your ambition. Our commitment to your success is total. We'll do whatever it takes for as long as it takes for you to succeed. Realize your American dream here. Call the admissions office, Passaic County Community College, 684-6868.
Journal.
pitch.
There's a hard drive deep into right center. I think he's done it. And it's Turner! Once again this season, if it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN. Temple's Mark Macon displays his rare talents when the Owls face West Virginia. Then the backcourt of Monroe and Corciani guards the Wolfpack against highly ranked Virginia. It's a Saturday afternoon doubleheader live on ESPN.
3 minutes, 10 seconds to go first half at Cameron Indoor Stadium with Duke leading North Carolina State 38-29. Back at the end of January, North Carolina State at home won the first game between the two clubs 95-89, and they shot almost 64% in that one. They certainly aren't that hot in this game. Kubek misses in close. Big battle for the rebound.
Held ball. Thompson and Kubek tie it up, and so Duke will get the ball. Kubek is really a scrapper. He came into this league with a reputation as a shooter, and he really hasn't shot the ball well, but he is some tough guy.
Hurley will trigger it on the baseline. Beautiful pass to Davis. 9 assists for Hurley already.
North Carolina State just having too many defensive breakdowns. Monroe catching the ball every time going away from the basket. And it's hard to shoot the ball much better than that if every time you catch it you're running away from the basket. See, there he goes again.
Off the glass, Rodney Monroe.
And if you have to make your living shooting that kind of a shot, that was an extremely difficult shot. The shooting percentage is not going to be very high. I don't know how he got that in the basket.
Leitner strong to the hoop.
Good outlet pass.
Monroe again on the other end. McCauley all alone for 3.
Monroe's, I think, is going to get called for a push. And is that 3 personal fouls on Monroe?
It's only 2 on Rodney.
Okay. Christian Leitner, of course, the primary option in Duke's half-court offense, really working hard right here. Gives Thompson a little push, takes it to the basket. Nice help by Fagans. If you're Thompson, that's the best you can hope for. Make it tough for Leitner to catch the ball and then get some help. Unfortunately for North Carolina State, McCauley missed the open 3, and Monroe gets a foul on the rebound.
Bobby Hurley, 5 points. There's what Duke's done with him the last couple of years. Short on the free throw. McCauley the rebound. Just over 2 minutes to go in the half. Duke by 9.
Boy, Hurley's doing a nice job cutting off Corciani's lanes to the basket.
Switch off now. Kubek on Corciani, who kicks it out to Monroe. Nice pass to Fagans from Rodney Monroe.
Sometimes you can't cut off everything, Brad. They were more concerned about the three-pointer by Monroe than the two-pointer by Fagans.
Fagans with 9 points now, many of them on those type of shots with people coming out to meet Monroe.
One thing that you've seen with Gugliotta on the bench, Duke hasn't been as prone to penetrate.
Hurley penetrates here. Lost the ball. North Carolina State basketball.
So much for astute observations, huh? Palmer back in the ball game. But with Gugliotta in the basketball game, it seemed to be the game plan that whoever Gugliotta was guarding was going to penetrate to the basket. And with Gugliotta out of there, Duke's penetration in the half-court offense has really become a little quieter. There's Gugliotta.
At 14 points and 4 3-pointers in the first game, has only 1 free throw in this one. So he's been a non-factor for sure.
And 1 for 5 from the free throw line.
State still with 1:15 to go. And cut into this lead and make it close, and Fagans is the guy they're going to right now. He's been open that same spot. Now the lead only 5.
What a tremendous job by Corciani to get the ball to him.
Corciani continues to work his way toward an NCAA record for career assists. Davis is fouled as he goes up.
That foul is against Thompson. That'll be 2 against him. So when you continue to attack inside, you're going to create some foul situations. Here, Fagans loses track of Davis, forces Thompson to come over and help. And that help play inside is a very difficult one to make without fouling, and Kevin Thompson didn't get away with it.
So So Brian Davis will go to the free throw line. 6'6" junior. Way too strong on that one.
This has been a very intense basketball game. One thing it hasn't been is a free throw shooting clinic.
That's for sure. Davis with 5. The lead is 6 for Duke.
And you know, the Duke Blue Devils jumped off to that big lead, Brad, and the crowd as a result has sort of become very quiet.
Now they bring the chant of defense up as Monroe works for the jumper. A dozen for Monroe.
That was a real quick move against Kubek, and Davis and Kubek talking to one another, headed up the court on offense. I think they're going to switch that matchup around defensively if North Carolina State gets the ball again, which they may not. That's the game clock in the bottom right-hand corner.
An 8-1 run for North Carolina State has made it a 4-point ball game as Duke works for the final shot of the half. Corchiani all over Hurley. And a steal by Corchiani ahead to Monroe. 2-point game.
I can't believe it's a 2-point game.
That's the way it's going to stay. What a rush by North Carolina State. A 10-1 run on the Duke Blue Devils. And at halftime, Les Robinson's team, you got to know, is happy.
Fact. Ford Thunderbird, Bronco, Mustang, Ranger, and F-Series pickup are all the best-selling vehicles in their class. Fact. The new Ford Escort is the best-selling small car in America. Fact. The new Ford Explorer is already outselling all of its competition. Call it leadership, call it winning, call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Save now during Leadership Month at your Ford dealer.
Tie game. Back after this. Twist off 7-Up caps and win in the incredible 7-Up college basketball game. Hurry up and grab all the 7-Up caps you can, because if you match the winner score in the final game, you'll win a t-shirt or basketball shoes from Foot Locker or $10,000. Instant winners too. So collect your caps and win. 7-Up employees not eligible.
Back for second half action in a real barn burner. Stadium House to start the second stanza. Rebel drive across the timeline.
We gave this man a standard carbide blade, and it cut for 20 hours straight before it lost its bite. Then we changed to the new Dianite blade from Vermont American, and it cut and cut and cut. 2, 3, even 5 times longer in industrial tests. Dianite blades from Vermont American. Maybe it's time you change blades.
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball, North Carolina State versus Duke, is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Duke leading NC State, but only by 2 at halftime, 41-39, as the big lead was cut into by the Wolfpack. Second half still to come, but let's check scores and highlights elsewhere. And we'll start in the Big Ten with the #2 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, coming off the big win over the Indiana Hoosiers that took 2 overtimes, but they had to go up to Illinois, and they had to play without their point guard, Mark Baker. Deion Thomas for Illinois had to sit it out as well, both with sprained ankles. Illini, fast break. Andy Kaufman lays it in at the other end. For the Buckeyes, Jimmy Jackson dishes to Perry Carter. Carter with the reverse and jams it down. Buckeyes by 7 at halftime. In the second half, Brown with the steal. Jimmy Jackson will finish things off at the other end. And the Ohio State Buckeyes, with time running down, just 17 seconds left, have a 9-point lead, 71-62. We will update this when his final Treg Lee had 12 points to that point. Now, earlier tonight in the Big East, Syracuse, the Orangemen, ranked #5 and on a roll, #1 team in the Big East, coming in with a record of 9-3. St. John's, with just a couple of conference games left, needed the victory. Chucky Sprawling makes the steal here. Cruises in for the layup. The Redmen went on a 15-0 run to start the game. Jim Boeheim, you better pray. Dave Johnson with the block, then Billy Owens cruises down the other end for the finger roll. The Orangemen went on an 18-2 run, and they led it by 2. Malik Sealy then owning the baseline, makes this hoop. And then the lazy pass is stolen by Buchanan, who lays it in. And Louis Carnesecca can smile in yet another bad sweater as he has the victory at home, 77-72. Malik Sealy, 23 points and 16 rebounds. St. John's with the victory at 9-6. Syracuse drops to 9-4 for the season. Still a couple of wins away from wrapping things up. Robert Wardan, 11 points and 13 rebounds. Now, also in the Big East, Pitt and Georgetown started the day behind Syracuse by 2 full games, both at 7 and 5, and both very much in need of a victory, including the Hoyas, though, because they're not even in the tournament quite yet. Sean Miller finds Antoine Jones. Then Robert Churchwell passes inside to Alonzo Mourning. Nice dish to Dikembe Mutombo, who finishes. The Hoyas, though, don't get back on defense here. Jason Matthews finds Brian Shorter on the break. He puts it in. Pitt up by 10 at halftime. In the second half, the clock went out, but that couldn't even stop Pitt. As Sean Miller from way out hits the three. Shorter outlets to Darrell Porter. Porter takes it and lays it in. And Pittsburgh wins at Georgetown 78-65. Sean Miller finishing with 21 points in the game. Dikembe Mutombo with 18 points and 11 rebounds. Georgetown has to play Connecticut at home. Then they have to go on the road to St. John's and Syracuse. So it will be tough for the Hoyas, who at this point are just 15-9 overall. As we take a look at the standings, Syracuse still on top at 9-4. St. John's only 1 game left, that against Georgetown at 9-6. So they're really an outside shot to take the title. Pittsburgh now at 8-5, just a game behind Syracuse. Georgetown dropping to 7-6. They'll face Connecticut on the weekend. Villanova up to 7-6. And Providence and Boston College are bringing up the rear in the Big East. Stay with us. We'll continue with ACC Big East Wednesday in just a moment as we'll move things to the second half. But first, still some more scores and highlights. Stay here.
Here's another demonstration of Chevy versus Ford. We're loading up these full-size pickups with recyclables. The Chevy has a standard payload advantage of over 400 pounds.
That's a pile of payload the Ford leaves behind.
No wonder so many truck owners recycle their trucks for Chevys. More people are winning with
the heartbeat of America.
Now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
I hate my daughter's dance class. Well, not the dance class, the waiting area. Flat vinyl benches, old magazines. So I get the car washed instead. Or I bring it here to Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus. My GM dealership guarantees a complete lube, oil, and filter. Well, in 29 minutes or less, or the next one's free. Of course, it's never actually taken that long. But hey, as long as they're done before dance class, I'm a happy camper.
Your GM dealer's serious about putting service back in the service department, so try Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus for a change.
Yo, Mike, do you know how you defy gravity? Do you know?
Yes, Mars. I overcome the acceleration of gravity by the application of my muscle power in the vertical plane, thus producing low-altitude Earth orbit.
Man, Money, that's some serious smarts. Where you learn that?
In school, Mars.
Mr. Jordan, do you have something you'd like to share with the rest of the class?
Yeah, don't be stupid. Stay in school.
Do what Michael Jordan says.
Stay in school!
I know you're gonna dig this.
It's more than a week-long party. It's championship week here on ESPN. It gets underway on March the 2nd. But right now, still some conferences to be decided. Although the Arkansas Razorbacks look as if they will win things in the Southwest Conference. Ranked number 3 in the nation, facing SMU. They'd won 15 consecutive conference games, including 12 this year. So trying to wrap things up here. Nice passing, though, by the Mustangs. James Gatewood in the lane. Gets hacked. Mustangs up by 6 early. Arkansas wasn't phased, though. Watch the follow by Oliver Miller. Gets it to go. SMU still up by 2, and they don't fold. Mike Wilson down low with the hoop and the foul. They led at 45-37 at halftime. Only the second time this year the Razorbacks have trailed at halftime. They did not even trail at halftime to UNLV. They were up by 4, but they're still down to SMU, 52-51. They won 15 straight in the conference, 12-0, but they're having a tough time at SMU. Let's move now to the Big 8. Nebraska, one of the surprising teams in the nation, just about in second place, really a half game behind Oklahoma State. They were a winner last night, and a full game behind Kansas as they try and move things up. First half, Missouri fans, the Antlers a lot to cheer about. Doug Smith on the fast break, jamming it home. 12 in the first half for Smith. Then off the missed three-pointer, Anthony Peeler, offensive board in the follow. 41-28 at halftime. Second half, Doug Smith again with the steal. Peeler takes it the rest of the way and scores. And Missouri having no problem with Nebraska at home, 91-71. Tigers 12-2 at home. Danny Nee has never won at the Hearn Center and couldn't do it tonight as well, so it's a sweep now for Missouri over Nebraska this year. Let's move to the Southeastern Conference. Number 12, Kentucky, one of the exciting teams of the year, but still they have to do things in the regular season because there's no postseason for Rick Pitino and his crew. Vanderbilt undefeated at home in the SEC this year and trying to continue their ways against the Wildcats and Rick Pitino. Jamal Mashburn leading the break. Right to Todd Mulholland by him. Gets a layup in the foul. Cats with a 6-point lead, but Vandy comes back behind senior Charles Mays. He hits. Mays in with the drive. The shot from outside. Rick Pitino was tossed out of the game after picking up his second technical. Has to sit down. Boy, technicals. Coaches in the SEC seem to get them. Dale Brown had one there as well. And coaches seem to take the early seat. They hate having the benches down underneath the baskets. Kentucky loses 98-87. Vandy now 12-2 at home this year, undefeated in the SEC at home. Also in the SEC, LSU at Mississippi rolling 89-78. Tigers 11-4 in the conference right now. Ole Miss 1-6 at home now. Still in the SEC. Florida loses at Mississippi State, or they're losing with 5:30 left. 77-59 is that score. Mississippi State has won 7 of their last 8 games in the conference. Alabama losing at Georgia 73-68. Alabama now 10-5, a very crucial loss in the conference. In the Big 8, Kansas at Colorado, and Colorado has the big lead at halftime, 45-31. Kansas is leading the conference. It is a wacky year. It's still in the Big 8. Oklahoma hosting Iowa State. They lead by only 4, 47-43 at halftime. And in the Metro Conference, Southern Miss loses to Cincinnati for the second time this year. The Bearcats get the sweep, 86-72. It also ends a 2-game skid for the Bearcats. So stay with us. When we come back, we will have more in ACC Big East Wednesday. But right now, here's a look at some more scores on your Wednesday night of college basketball.
Imagine a rent-a-car company that offers special delivery right to your door. That's Enterprise.
Here, let me help you.
And remember, when you return the car, Enterprise will be glad to drop you home. Enterprise, a special rent-a-car company that gives you special delivery.
It was a dumb argument. It all started when she said she went to the GM dealership for an oil change. How long did it take, I asked. Less than 29 minutes, she said. Well, what, did they do anything else or just change the oil? She said they checked the fluids and everything. In less than 29 minutes, guaranteed. She said, no way, I said. Then she said, why don't you ever believe me? That's when I knew I was in trouble. Thanks.
Your GM dealer's serious about putting service back in the service department. So try Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus for a change.
160 horses. That's what Chevy S10 packs into the biggest V6 engine ever put in a compact pickup. Enough power to help switch more truck owners to Chevy last year than to any other truck. The move to Chevy is becoming a stampede. More people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
Are you still living with this nightmare? Over 1 million motorists have switched to Triple Edge, the world's first high-tech windshield wiper. It clears, it cleans, it wipes dry, all in a single pass. Triple Edge gives you visibility through the heaviest downpour. It whisks away snow and ice. Even mud is no match for Triple Edge. If they ever fail, we'll replace them free. At only $19.95 a pair, they're the last windshield wipers you'll ever buy. Call now.
Welcome back. We'll get back to Cameron Indoor Stadium in just a moment. But first, let's update scores again from the Big Ten. Ohio State on a roll on their way to their 6th straight victory. It is their 6th straight. They improved to 23-1, their only loss to Michigan State. Houston and Texas Tech in the Southwest Conference, 10-point game. 3:30 left. Houston needs a victory in this one to keep their hopes alive. Texas A&M and Baylor. This one just a 1-point game, just about 30 seconds left in the game. We'll keep you updated. Missouri Valley Conference, Southwest Missouri State, first year in the conference. They lead Creighton by 3 games, and they lead Tulsa, or rather they trail to Tulsa by 6, 49-43, 10:45 left. DePaul and Notre Dame, it will take overtime, all tied up at 70 apiece at the end of regulation. In the Patriot League, the Rams end a 14-game winning streak. 75-72, they lose to Holy Cross, but Holy Cross beat Providence this year as well. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll continue with ACC Big East Wednesday. We have a 2-point game.
Pontiac GMC Truck is North Jersey's leading volume discount dealership.
Hi, I'm Ralph Sifford.
And I'm Chrissy Sifford.
Sifford Pontiac GMC Truck offers over 50 years of sales and service experience.
Whether you're looking for a new car or truck.
For great service, Sifford responds with low prices.
And now Sifford is having a terrific clearance sale on all models of Pontiac's and GMC trucks. And Dad promises everyone the same great service that I receive.
Sifford Pontiac GMC Truck, 250 West Fort Lee Road, Pagoda.
It was the strangest thing. All of a sudden, there was this gut-wrenching pain. Now I think I know what it's like to have a baby. It was a kidney stone. The doctor said it had to come out immediately. I was out for 6 weeks after my surgery.
His doctor sent him to Hackensack Medical Center.
They took care of it in no time with this high-tech gizmo. No surgery required, and all on an outpatient basis. Gee, Bert, when did all this happen? Yesterday.
Same-day procedures at Hackensack Medical Center.
Bob Nickel knows a little French cafe where the food is magnifique, but the bill isn't. Now, where do you suppose he'd rent a car? Budget, where he finds the most luxury Lincolns, over 3,500 locations worldwide, and very tasteful prices. The smart money is on Budget.
Now you can rent a Lincoln for the smart rate of $99 for any 3 days with unlimited mileage at any participating Budget location. The smart money is on Budget.
Great defense starts with your feet. And I have MVP feet. That's why I play in the pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, I get support, protection, and a custom fit that's unbeatable. I made hot dog, but when it comes to protection, this is no bull. Pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
The bigger-than-ever four-door Chevy S10 Blazer. Now America's best-loved sport utility vehicle gives you 4 doors and standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. The bigger-than-ever, better-than-ever 1991 4-door S10 Blazer. Open one up and see why more people are winning with Chevrolet. Now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball, North Carolina State versus Duke, is brought to you by Chevy Trucks. More people are winning with the heartbeat of America. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when.
Welcome back, and we have a 2-point game in the ACC. NC State is trailing in Durham, North Carolina against the Duke Blue Devils. We'll get back there in a moment. But in the SEC, once again, Florida just at 7-7 coming in, and they're beaten by Mississippi State. 81-67 is the final there. Mississippi State has now won 8 of their last 9 games in the conference, and they're right up there at the top now, moving to 11-4. Southwest Conference, Houston and Texas Tech. Houston really needs a victory here. It looks as if they will get it here. 150 left. They're up 65-53. A reminder, on Thursday, a doubleheader once again from the Metro Conference, Memphis State and Florida State, and Cal against Arizona in the Pac-10. Right now, let's go back to Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Second half underway, and North Carolina State, believe it or not, trying to play for a tie when once they were down 13 in the first half. But they really made a game of it in the last couple of minutes of the first half, and now they can even it at 41 if they score this trip. Brad Nussler and Dan Bonner. at Cameron Indoor Stadium, where Duke has not lost all year. They're 14-0 in this building. Corciani kicks out to Monroe. Fagans in the paint.
And Fagans continues to do a great job being active. You're concentrating so much on Corciani, Gugliotta, and Monroe that eventually you lose a guy like Fagans.
Leitner fouled by Corciani, who tried to get in and steal one. Do you believe we're tied at 41? This game looked like it was out of hand with about 4 minutes to go in the first half.
It's just hard, Brad, to comprehend that North Carolina State has been able to come back in this ball game. Duke has seemed to be in control throughout.
Christian Leitner has not been a big factor offensively. He had 23 in the first meeting between these two clubs and has only 4 points right now. He'll normally get you those free throws, though. 78% free throw shooter. Last year, he led the ACC in free throw shooting. There's what he did January 23rd in Raleigh. Gugliotta gets the rebound.
Duke's got to generate the same kind of defensive intensity at the start of the second half that they were able to generate at the start of the game. That's what got them out to the big lead, and that's what will win the game for them if they're going to come out with a victory.
Corciani had some trouble in the lane, got it out to Gugliotta. Duke starts with that frisky man-to-man defense again.
That's what they need.
Corciani and it blocked by Leitner.
Leitner's just hanging around inside there. He doesn't have to follow Thompson on the perimeter. Monroe dribbles it off his leg and out of bounds.
First North Carolina State turnover of this half. They had 10 in the first half.
And Kevin Thompson ought to take a page out of the book of Brian Fagans. I think if Thompson would be a little more active inside, then I think he could cause Leitner some problems and get himself open for some easy shots. That's what Fagans has done.
Fagans has been virtually wide open for most of his 13 points. Thomas Hill, he was all the Duke offense early in this game. Leitner from 18.
Duke seemed to forget about Leitner and their half-court offense for the last 6-7 minutes of the first half. Mike Krzyzewski obviously has made some adjustments to straighten that little problem out.
Duke back in front by 3. Just over 18 minutes to go in the ballgame.
You watch Leitner inside. He's every once in a while glances to find Thompson, but he's not going outside with him.
Not
staying
worried
in the
about
color.
it. You're right. There's another turnover. Here comes Duke. 3-on-1. Thomas Hill came out on it. That one was halfway to the floor before it came back out.
And Leitner's going to get himself a foul if he's not careful.
Corciani drives in and scores.
And that's what the presence of Leitner inside means, Brad. Leitner wasn't in the color that time, so Corciani can get to the basket.
Smart move by Corciani to just keep right on motoring. A 1-point game.
He was trying to get Leitner to tumble over him for the foul.
Thomas Hill outside. Too hard. Corciani the rebound.
You know, Hill was 5 for 5 very early in the game. He hasn't been heard from since.
Monroe outside. Thompson had it blocked by Grant Hill. 3-on-1 for Duke. Brian Davis finishes off that Duke fast break. Now the crowd is into it.
It's amazing what dunks will do.
Gugliotta's got 4 fouls. Robinson may have to go to his very limited bench again.
Les Robinson holding up one finger. Now he's checking with his staff. Don't know whether he's called a play or telling that. There's 2 now.
Well, if it was one finger, I would have said it was telling Gugliotta he only had 1 more left and he was sitting down.
Well, this is what North Carolina State's limited bench means. That Gugliotta has to stay in the game. North Carolina State in a 2-3 zone trying to protect Tom Gugliotta.
That's what the 2 fingers was for from Les Robinson. Zone defense for State. Leitner inside. Gugliotta had a hand on it and Brian Davis stripped it away.
Boy, that was a nice rebound by Davis. Gugliotta really barking at the referee, and he's going to get his 5th foul if he's not very careful. He just shoved Leitner out of the way.
Early for 3. Gugliotta the rebound.
And he's swinging his elbows in there, too. He's really got to be careful. He's angry right at the moment, and his anger is going to get him his 5th foul if he doesn't calm down.
I'm not so sure Bacali being in there right now wouldn't be the better choice for North Carolina State, just to cool off Gugliotta. 3-point Duke lead. Thomas Hill tried to manufacture a charging call, didn't get it. Corciani in the lane is short. Leitner with some authority pulls down a rebound. Hurley ahead to Davis. And did Davis walk with it? No.
They called a foul. They called a foul on Monroe, I think. That ball was thrown badly behind. It is a foul on Rodney Monroe. That's number 3. Davis did a nice job to even get a hand on that pass.
State's looking at some foul trouble right now. 15:30 to play. Duke with a 46-43 lead.
Say who we are, and you get this with your discount subscription to this PC magazine at a very special price, $37.93 off the cover price, and this 2-disc utilities library free if you grab the bargain now.
Call toll-free 1-800-544-1000. 22 issues are $26.97. An instant TV discount of 58% off the newsstand price. To save and claim your gift, call 1-800-544-1000. That's 1-800-544-1000.
L-A-T-E, Mom. Relax. Come on, we'll practice. Blizzard. B-L-I-Z-Z-A-R-D.
Because nature gives us driving challenges at all the wrong moments, Mercedes-Benz gives us ASR, automatic slip control. It doesn't overcome nature, but it makes it easier to live with.
You nervous? H-E-L-P, Mom. No.
Because there are races that last 24 hours. Because there are rallies that last 4 days. There are high-performance tires, Gold Michelins.
A no-hitter for Dave Stewart. There's one. It's a no-hitter.
Beginning opening day, April 8th. If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN.
Welcome back once again, everyone. Let's look at the score in the Southwest Conference. Arkansas up by 11, 7 minutes to go. In the Southwest Conference as well, Texas A&M and Baylor all tied up, headed to overtime. Back to the ACC.
15.5 minutes to go. The Duke Blue Devils with a 3-point lead. They led by 13 in the first half at one stage, led by 2 at halftime. And we've had one tie in this half at 41 apiece.
North Carolina State in the zone defense has to be active in the zone. You just can't stand around against a team like Duke because they can get the ball inside too easily.
There it is. Leitner.
That was not very hard at all. Leitner just steps into the open area in the middle of the zone and the ball goes right to him. If you're going to play a zone defense, you got to keep those hands moving and those feet moving.
Largest lead of the half for the Duke Blue Devils. Nice pick by Monroe. Corciani running out of real estate, threw it away. Gugliotta trying to take it right back with 4 fouls. He's got to watch out. And here comes Hurley. Strip of Grant Hill. Corciani's all by himself.
Corciani was making sure of that one.
Good thing he didn't miss. The Duke student body wouldn't have ever let him forget it. The lead cut back to 3. Corciani's got 8 points on the night.
And North Carolina State looks like they're trying to get back into the man-to-man. And it looked like they didn't know what they were doing. They were standing around. A couple guys had 2 fingers up. A couple guys had 3 fingers talking to one another, and they lost Grant Hill.
Grant Hill used all 10 fingers. He's got 15 points. A 10-2 Duke run. Feggins. Air ball.
Duke will let him have that all night.
5-on-1 for Duke. No call there. Monroe comes out of the pack with it. Gugliotta.
That's his first
Blue Devils lead by 3.
Wolfpack hanging on by their fingertips.
Everybody looks a little bit tired right now.
I would say a little bit is an understatement, Brad. Everybody's out there tugging on their shorts. It's tough to play good defense with your hands on your knees.
Thomas Hill's jumper rattles out. Dukins clears it.
Duke is not being very patient against that zone. I think if they moved the ball around a couple times, they could get an easy shot. They've demonstrated that.
There's a little mismatch. Leitner on Corciani. Monroe on the baseline around Hurley. Had to adjust his shot. Fagans the rebound, and he scored it.
Boy, Fagans is having a big game, isn't he, Brad?
Sure is.
That's really a tough, tough inside play. Monroe forced to change his shot by Hurley, but Fagans in excellent defensive position, beats Hill and Davis to the ball, and then gets it up through Davis and Leitner. And he's not too excited about it.
Fagans with 15 points to go with his 7 rebounds. His 7th one being that offensive board that got him the bucket. And he can tie this game up again. Every time it looks like Duke's going to run State out of the building, the Wolfpack makes a charge.
Fagans had 17 points the last time these teams played.
Monroe for 3. Foul underneath on Thompson.
State had some very good opportunities, Brad, as Thompson now picks up his 3rd personal foul.
Gugliotta has 4, Monroe has 3, and Thompson has 3. So McCauley is going to come in and spell Thompson, and State will go to a smaller lineup.
And in that smaller lineup, they're going to play that zone again, and it's a zone against which Duke has not displayed very much patience. A couple of times reversing the basketball. Leitner's been wide open inside.
And Gugliotta's the middle of the threesome on the backside of that zone. And if they get it in the paint, he'll either have to go up and worry about his last foul.
McCauley's going to get that foul.
It's his 2nd.
McCauley discussing maybe blockout responsibilities with Corciani. Certainly nobody got Grant Hill.
Corciani, the floor leader out there, the coach on the floor for North Carolina State. McCaffrey checks back in for Duke. Mike Krzyzewski, 11 years at Duke, and has been to the Final Four 3 straight years, 4 years in the last 5. Thomas Hill, who was most of the offense early for Duke, has his first point of the 2nd half, 13 for the game. They get quiet for Thomas Hill, who can put Duke back in front by 3. 2-point game.
That's really hurt the Blue Devils, Brad. They were only 8 of 15 from the free throw line in the first half, and their percentage hasn't improved here in the second.
I was looking over the stats. McCauley and Corciani are the only 2 guys who have gone to the line who haven't missed. Everybody else has missed at least 1 free throw.
Everybody trying to surround Corciani. Good job by McCaffrey and Hurley.
State can tie if they score. Almost lost it. We've had 1 tie this half at 41-41. State hasn't led since the first couple of minutes of the ball game.
Only 7 seconds
on the shot clock. Monroe's going to be the guy. Well, he won't be the guy. Corciani for 3. A little short, but he got his own rebound and dished it to Fagans. Tie game at 51.
State just out-scrapping the Blue Devils on the offensive board.
Well, if this one keeps getting tied up every 5 minutes or so, by the end of the game, it'll be about 81 apiece, and we'll still be here. Leitner on the baseline.
That's where North Carolina State is the weakest, and that's where Duke really needs to go.
2-point Duke lead. McCauley on McCaffrey. Over to Fagans. Corciani saying last touch by Hurley. He might have a case. John Moreau and Larry Lembo are going to talk it over, and they turn it around.
That's a good call right there. The officials helping one another out. It was last touch by McCaffrey.
We've got exactly 11 minutes to play in the ball game. The Duke Blue Devils cling to a 2-point lead, 53-51.
With real cola taste, just 1 calorie, and 100% NutraSweet. Nothing says real refreshment quite like Diet Coke. Nothing.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
The 1991 NCAA Mini Basketball from Pizza Hut is one of those things people just love to get their hands on. And at only $2.99 with any Pizza Hut pizza you buy. Luckily, that's very easy to do. So grab this year's NCAA Mini Basketball for just $2.99 while supplies last. Because you're never too old or too young to have a ball.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
Back to Cameron in a moment. First, a couple of scores. Southwest Conference, Texas A&M and Baylor, 5-point game, and a final. A&M gets the win in overtime. DePaul loses at Notre Dame. That hurts their chances to get back into the tournament. The Fighting Irish coming back now 11-16 on the year, 80-77. They win in OT. Let's go back to Cameron, Duke and NC State.
Brad Nessler and Dan Bonner with you from Cameron Indoor Stadium, proving to our moms we really do sweat at work. 53-51. It's just impossible to believe State's still in this ball game.
They've really battled back every opportunity that they've had. Duke's run at them a couple of times, but they haven't been able to put them away. We don't want to admit to anybody we're working here, Brad.
Another turnover. North Carolina State's got to handle it well if they're going to stay with Duke. Leitner lost the handle. McCaffrey picks up the stray ball and missed a jumper. Leitner in the right spot. Christian Leitner. Just when you think you have him out of the ball game, all of a sudden he's got 9 points in the half and 13 for the game.
That zone defense is designed to give North Carolina State some rest. That time, not able to keep the ball out of the hands of Leitner. The bounce just goes Duke's way that time. But State in foul trouble, State dragging a little bit, so they go to the zone defense, and Duke has been able to take advantage when they've been able to get the ball to this guy.
Corciani and Fegans are the only 2 guys not in foul trouble for NC State. And Leitner's missed his last 2 free throws, which is an oddity in itself. 4-point Duke lead, 10:20 to play, 55-51. McCaffrey switches off on Corciani.
Corciani just pounds that ball and pounds that ball, looking for opportunity.
McCauley, that's short.
Now, what do we got here? We've got a basket interference call against Duke. The basket will count.
So give the basket to McCauley.
McCauley shoots the ball.
Leitner got tangled up in the net.
Leitner touches it when it's on the rim. And there it's a three-pointer. That's a three-point basket. Mike Krzyzewski is not happy about that at all.
Circle that one in your scoreboard.
There's the three-point attempt. Definitely a three. Leitner gets up and touches it as it touches the rim.
I haven't seen a three-point goaltending call before. We have one now. Hurley for 3. Oh, boy, that's the way to answer it. Goes from a 1-point game to a 4-point game just that quickly. Still a lot of basketball left. 9:40 to play. Duke 58-54. Monroe with a left hand.
Oh, what a move by Monroe.
Showing why he's the ACC's leading scorer. 58-56 Duke. McCaffrey.
Monroe the got away with a push that time.
Too far ahead. Nope. Corciani saved it. Gugliotta for 3.
Nice job by State on the offensive board. They're keeping themselves in the game with the offensive board.
Thompson kept it alive.
See Corchiani go to him, take the ball out of his hands. 5-second call?
John Moreau over to the scorers table.
I don't understand what's happened here.
I don't either.
Everybody on the Duke bench is holding up a five fingers because I thought that was the signal.
The NC State bench with security, please report the NC State bench area.
Okay. He may have thrown a fan out of the game. Here comes security,
that's what's
maybe.
going on.
Or maybe somebody at the scorers table. Let's see. Nope, one of the fans in row 1.
Okay, now John Moreau raised his hand with the open hand. That's the signal for a clock stoppage for a violation. I thought he was calling a 5-second violation, but they're throwing that guy out.
Well, that guy's got to watch the rest of the game at home. If he can get there that quickly.
If he can get his phone call.
He has one phone call. He's going to call for a television. Monroe for the tie is short.
And that's the disadvantage for fans of being so close. The officials can hear everything they say. There's a walking violation against Hurley. Well, that was very confusing. That's something that, you know, we don't know what's going on because we're so far away from the action. But all the Duke bench thought the same thing that I did, and that is that the official had called a 5-second violation, but he was just stopping the game to get rid of that fan.
Chris Corchiani in low again, kicks it out. Gugliotta. He can't hit it. He hasn't had enough tries at it tonight. He sat so long in the first half with foul trouble, he can't find the rhythm on the jumper. He has only 3 points tonight.
And Hurley did a nice job running at him. That was not an open 3-point shot. Hurley does a great job to get out there and contest it.
Kicked by Gugliotta.
I don't know that I've ever seen a fan thrown out of a game.
We see a little bit of everything every time we do a game. 3-point goaltending call, you know, we see a little bit of everything. Ryan Davis back in for Duke. He's out there with McCaffrey, Leitner, Grant Hill, and Bobby Hurley, who pumps it from long range. Bacali pulls down the rebound. Bacali, Monroe, Corchiani, Thompson, and Gugliotta, the 5 on the floor for the Wolfpack.
That was a great job by Gugliotta to block Leitner in under the basket and get that rebound. Bacali just did a great job. It's much smaller, but he gets it done.
Monroe double team baseline. Bacali way outside. Short again with the 3. Nice dish to Leitner.
Classic 3-on-1 fast break. Hurley is the point man, forces the commitment of the defender. Bacali gets it to Leitner.
Leitner's got 15 all of a sudden. And with 7:41 to go in the ball game, the Duke Blue Devils stretch their lead out to 4. Duke at home leading 60-56.
Attention advertisers. America's favorite cable network wants to give you the business.
Do we have a deal?
With programming that gets you noticed. So get up and grab them. Men, women, teens, kids, they're watching USA. So let us give you the business. Advertise locally on cable on USA, America's favorite cable network.
To advertise on the USA Network, call 785-4950.
Fine Tuning for Men is now open in Riverdale, the only men's clothing store in the area where you'll find casual clothing for the contemporary man. Let our fashion experts outfit you in the finest in slacks, shirts, sweaters, Italian silk ties, fine leathers, and accessories. Fine Tuning for Men. You won't be disappointed.
There he goes! And after 62 years, move over Ty Cobb.
Beginning opening day, April 8th. If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN. Georgetown and St. John's battle toward the Big East crown. Steve Smith leads Michigan State against Minnesota, and #1 UNLV faces its toughest Big West test against New Mexico State. Big Monday, live on ESPN.
Bobby Hurley, 12 assists tonight. This is his 4th game in his career against North Carolina State. He has 47 assists against the Wolfpack. Not bad. He dished Leitner the last one to give Duke the 4-point lead they have now. It's 60-56, 7.5 minutes to go here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Brad Nessler and Dan Bonner with you. Monroe had it knocked away by Davis.
And in the Duke man-to-man defense in the second half, one of the keys has been Christian Leitner really laying off Thompson inside. Duke continues to shoot the ball well.
56% for Duke right now. NC State at 43%.
And since they were almost 50 at halftime, 49, they have dropped off. See, there's Thompson. Corciani penetrates, draws the defense, and Thompson didn't do anything except standing there.
And now they're down to 10 on the shot clock, and somebody better get aware of that. Well, it won't matter. Davis with a steal. McCaffrey, that could be a killer.
North Carolina State can only make but so many comebacks, Brad.
The whole building is moving. 7-point Duke lead. Davis works for another steal and almost got it. You gotta love this place. 63-56.
Oh, Thompson very nearly walks.
Lob for Gugliotta. McCaffrey got a piece of that one.
That's great defense by McCaffrey, and Leitner really hustling to get the ball.
McCaffrey, another three-pointer. Nope, two-pointer, and he missed it. Fight for the rebound. Possession error will be NC State. No, it'll be Duke.
And Gugliotta still barking at the officials.
He should put more energy into his game and quit worrying about those guys. He got the early foul trouble, and it's totally taken him out of his game.
Stayed in that zone defense.
I don't know how Hurley got it to Davis, but he got it to him. 13 assists.
That just drives a coach nuts.
Biggest lead of this half. It's up to 9. Corciani's 12-footer. That'll quiet the crowd momentarily.
Corciani, you just get the idea that he wants to take over the game at this point. His team is in trouble. Saw him do that in the first half. State's going to have to do it on the defensive end. This zone's got to be more active.
That ended a 7-0 Duke run.
Grant Hill down on the baseline. Gugliotta and Thompson and Fagans have to be aware of him.
Leitner kicks it out to Davis, and now Hurley for three. Gugliotta battling for the
hustle.
rebound. Stayed with that one.
Corciani was alone down the court. Gugliotta, though, had people all over him, couldn't find him.
State trying to slice the Duke lead back to 5. Monroe had it stripped by McCaffrey.
Foul's called against Corciani. That's 3 on him. Corciani really hustles down the court. You see McCaffrey steal the ball. Corciani sets sail after him. Look at Corciani working, getting down the court. Corciani very upset about the foul call.
His third. Monroe has 3. Gugliotta has 4. Thompson has 3. Bacali has 3. Fagans is the only guy without foul trouble to some extent for North Carolina State. And now McCaffrey, who's 0 for 2 from the line. A great free throw shooter coming in, but so far he hasn't hit one and still hasn't.
So Corciani's hustle gets him a foul, but it saves at least 1 point.
Bill McCaffrey. His brother, a Kodak All-American wide receiver at Stanford this past year. His sister plays basketball at Georgetown. His sister might have to take him out and shoot free throws with him. 89% are coming in. He missed them both.
Ball came off a little hard, and Fagan's just not big enough to keep Leitner away from it. Knocks it out of bounds, and so Duke's going to keep it.
Thomas Hill back in with Grant Hill, Brian Davis, Christian Leitner, and Bobby Hurley. He'll trigger it on the baseline. NC State. Corciani and Monroe, Thompson, Gugliotta, and Fegans. They're starting 5 out there. Duke spreads it out here with 4:45 to play and a 7-point lead.
North Carolina State is in that zone. There's still plenty of time left in the ball game. North Carolina State isn't necessarily upset about Duke holding the ball. Gives them a chance to catch their breath. The thing the Wolfpack has to do is make sure when Duke starts playing offense that they start playing real tough defense. They've not been overly active in this zone defense, and it's hurt them.
11 on the shot clock. And now Duke makes its move to the hoop. Thomas Hill will take it. Missed it with 5 on the shot clock, and Thompson gets the rebound. So that worked, as Dan said, to NC State's advantage. Corciani fouled en route by Hurley.
That's only the second team foul of the half on Duke.
Upcoming schedule for these two teams in the ACC. North Carolina State with Virginia Saturday, then Maryland and Wake Forest.
And North Carolina State, a team that has yet to lose at home.
Duke's got Clemson and then at North Carolina to finish the season March 3rd.
Now those are the remaining conference games.
Right.
Duke's got a date with Arizona coming up.
Where Arizona's won
9,412 in a row.
59, I think, somewhere in there.
Somewhere there or in between, someplace around.
Arizona had a little trouble with another team from the ACC, though, the other day as Georgia Tech upset them. We're down to 3:40 left to go. A 7-point Duke lead. This game will be nowhere near the high-scoring affair of a month ago when it was 95-89 North Carolina State. In the last 5 years, these teams have split their games. In the last 10 outings, 5 and 5. Hill works free.
Oh, what a tip by Davis, just up over Fegans. State back in the man-to-man defense, and Duke just goes right at him.
Davis in double figures with 11. The lead is back to 9. And we approach the 3-minute mark. State's going to have to make another run, and they're going to have to make it pretty soon.
Nice pass.
Fegans, tough shot, got it to go. Fegans has had a big game. 19 points for Brian Fegans.
He continues to move without the basketball and get opportunities for himself. Now this is a tough matchup right here. Thompson's going to have a hard time guarding Leitner that far from the basket. Of course, it's hard to guard Leitner close to the basket.
Corciani and Grant Hill got tangled up, and Corciani will be called for his 4th foul. He was guarding Hill way out at midcourt, and then as Hill started to make his way into the paint, Corciani kind of grabbed onto him on the way.
Corciani, of course, doesn't have the option of fouling any longer, but I don't know that he wasn't trying to foul Grant Hill. Hill, 64% free throw shooter, hasn't shot it well from the line tonight. It's only a 1-and-1.
3 out of 6 on the night for Hill from the stripe. And he missed again.
So if that's what Corciani was trying to do, it worked.
2.5 to play. 7-point Duke lead. State needs a 3 here pretty soon. That's the guy that can get it for him, Monroe, if he can get open. He's had a tough go of it tonight. Fouled by Leitner. And that's going to be, I believe, a shooting foul.
2-shot foul. One of the reasons why Monroe has had a difficult time getting open for those threes, first of all, Duke has defended it very well, and when without screens, and when North Carolina State has attempted to screen, Duke is switching or double teaming Monroe, making it very difficult for him to get the open shot.
There you see the Wolfpack players in foul trouble, and Duke with
that's
the deep
everybody
bench.
they got.
That's right. Duke with a deep bench and no trouble. Monroe at the line. 16 points for Rodney Monroe, and that's an off night for him.
Last time these two teams played, he had 35.
Number 3 scorer in ACC history. 4 points on the half, 18 for the game, and it cuts the Duke lead down to 5 at 67-62.
Is that a new dispatcher?
That, she was here the last time you checked up on me.
So those Rollins guys,
They're still trying to steal our drivers.
Well, I think I got that under control. My Payne Weber guy set up a 401k. It's a pension plan, so obviously the longer a driver stays...
That must be costing a bundle.
Well, it costs a lot less than constantly breaking in new men.
How does a stockbroker know that you've been having trouble keeping drivers?
He asked.
So how many cars does Mercedes test crash every year?
Oh, I say about 100. You can never learn enough. Ever since we had it patented, we have been improving this concept of the energy-absorbing car body.
But other companies use the concept.
We have never enforced the patent.
So Mercedes gave away a basic safety advance for free?
There are some things in life that are too important not to share.
I'm Dave Johnson. For my training for the 1992 decathlon, I switched to the pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, my feet have support, protection, and a custom fit for leaping, vaulting, spinning, jumping, sprinting, hurling, racing, running, throwing, and shot putting. Now I'm the guy who knows cross-training. Pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
Minutes, 17 seconds to play at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Brad Nessler and Dan Bonner with you. It's a Duke lead of 5 at 67-62. Their biggest lead of the game, 13 in the first half. And their biggest lead of this 20-minute segment, they were up by 9.
Brad, now the obvious play here is if you don't get the ball, you foul. With everybody out there in foul trouble, really about the only guy that can afford to give one is Fagans. Duke is still in the 1-1. NC State has 18 fouls, so they got one more for the 1-1.
Orciani with 4 fouls. Gugliotta with 4. Gugliotta right now on Thomas Hill.
Nice job by Duke. Keep the basketball moving.
Down to 20 on the shot clock. 1:51 on the game clock.
Now that 3-point shot, and this is only a 5-point lead. There's still plenty of time in this game. You don't have to start fouling.
10 on the shot clock here.
So what you got to do is play some defense now. You've got to get the ball back.
Thomas Hill. Gugliotta worried about the last foul. Hill got it off and hit it.
That's not the way you want to get it back, though, if you're NC State. You want to take it off the rim, not out of the net. That may be it. Great defense.
Knocked away, but Gugliotta picks up the loose ball and throws it away.
That's what Rodney Monroe's been looking at the entire game, Brad. Every time he gets in a position where he thinks he's open for a shot, a double team is there.
19 turnovers for North Carolina State. And that may have been the final miscue for him.
Duke with some tremendous defense early and some tremendous defense late, Brad. Boy, Fagans trying to get the foul against Hill, wasn't able to do it.
Duke 60 seconds away from running their record to a perfect 15-0 at home.
And Corciani really barking at Fagans, telling him to foul Grant Hill. State's got to do something. There's only 45 seconds left in the game. 15 on the shot clock.
Early in Corciani on top. Now 10 on the shot clock. Last time Hill got it for him. This time the jump stop in the lane.
That's a tremendous move. That's a great move by Thomas Hill. And if it wasn't over before, it is now.
Corciani. Push in the lane.
Foul called against Leitner. It's on the pass, so North Carolina State's just going to get the ball out of bounds. Christian Leitner calling timeout.
We got a timeout. 20 seconds to play. And Duke in command. 71-62.
L-A-T-E, Mom.
Relax. Come on, we'll practice. Blizzard.
B-L-I-Z-Z-A-R-D.
Because nature gives us driving challenges at all the wrong moments, Mercedes-Benz gives us ASR, automatic slip control. It doesn't overcome nature, but it makes it easier to live with.
You nervous? H-E-L-P, Mom.
No. Mom, tell the truth. Is everything all right?
Is this where we reverse roles?
Be serious. I mean, you won't have to sell the house or anything, will you?
Well, why would I do that?
Mom.
Look, when you were away at school, Dad met with Greg Hall down at Payne Weber.
Oh, that was 10 years ago, though.
They set up this annuity just in case anything happened.
So you have enough?
More than enough every month.
How'd the Payne Weber guy know back then what Daddy wanted for you?
You asked.
North Carolina State came in having won 5 of their last 6. Duke had not lost back-to-back games all year. They lost to Wake Forest 86-77 on Saturday in ACC play, and they are 20 seconds away from avenging an earlier loss to the Wolfpack. Corciani will go to the free throw line, but just not enough time left, it doesn't appear, for the visiting Wolfpack of North Carolina State. Chris Corciani has 10 points in the ball game. Duke Blue Devils, if they hold on for this one, will move into first place by a half game over North Carolina in the ACC standings with a 9-3 mark. It would be their 6th straight year of at least 9 wins in ACC play. Monroe outside, can't hit the 3. McCaffrey clears. Bobby Hurley now will just try to dribble away the remaining time. Rodney Monroe fouls him with 11 seconds left. 4 on Monroe. That's academic at this point. The Blue Devils of Duke will be 15-0 at home. And Les Robinson in his first year at North Carolina State knows how tough it is on the road in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Still, his team at 15-8 has had a tremendous year. They will drop to 6-5 in the ACC, though, when this one's over. Bobby Hurley, what a big game. 13 assists. To go with his 9 points. And we're down to the final seconds. Corciani weaves his way in, scores it, and he's fouled with 4 seconds left. Corciani will never give up, that's for sure. All it's going to do is make this one a little bit closer in the scorebook. Duke 5 times to the Sweet 16, 5 years in a row. 3 straight Final Fours, average about 29 wins a year over the last 5 seasons, and they're about to go to 23-5 with this one. So North Carolina State got the first one back at the end of January, but Duke has answered the call at home. Final score: Duke 72, North Carolina State 65.
Thanks, gentlemen. Duke a winner by 7 in this one as they now move to 9-3 in the conference. Good for a half-game lead in the ACC over North Carolina. SportsCenter comes your way in a moment, but let's remind you, we still have 2 more games this week. On Thursday night, it's a doubleheader. We'll start in the Metro Conference. Florida State, the Seminoles against the Tigers of Memphis State. That at 7:30 Eastern Time. Then we'll move to the Pac-10 at 9:30. Cal moves into Arizona. The Wildcats ranked number 9. That at 9:30 Eastern Time. Championship week is oh so close. 24 conferences, 23 conference championships, 33 games, 68 hours of coverage, March 2nd to the 10th, all here on ESPN. And a guy who used to lead you through championship week comes your way in a moment on SportsCenter. Bob Lee along with Dan Patrick. Thanks for watching. We'll see you once again tomorrow night. Good night, everyone. ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball, North State versus Duke, is brought to you by Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it. By Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. And by Payne Weber. We believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships.
Judo, one of the most popular martial arts. The Japanese dominated this sport until the great Dutchman Anton Heesink began to compete in the 1950s. He was the first European to win a world championship and Olympic gold in judo.
If you want to be a champion, you have to look like a champion. That means everybody saw on me when I start a competition, there is a man, he's well prepared, and he likes it. He's not afraid to lose, because that's one of my strongest points. In all my competition period, I was never afraid to lose.
Geesink is from the village of Utrecht, just outside of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. He still lives in Utrecht today. Geesink retired from judo in 1967, but he has given much back to his sport. He actively works to promote and develop sport in Holland and still finds time to teach a judo class every week to the handicapped. He became interested in judo as a young boy.
And it was 1948. I was watching a football match, soccer match, and between the first part and the second part, I saw a demonstration. They call it self-defense. And they show us a little bit of judo. From the moment that I saw it, I was that impressed that I quit football, soccer, I quit swimming, and I gave all my time to the self-defense, and a year later it's called judo.
Geesink proved early on that he could master the sport. Despite his large size, Geesink was able to move quickly and with great agility. Here in 1961 at the World Championships in Paris, Geesink made headlines when he overwhelmed his Japanese opponent.
And in '61, it was a beautiful event. Of course, I became the champion, but I beat my 3 Japanese opponents, partners, on 1 row. And it was in Europe. It can't be better.
For nearly 10 years, Geesink would reign as one of the best judo players in the world. Twice world champion, Olympic gold medalist, and holder of 21 European titles, he truly dominated his sport. His wife, Johanna, and their 3 children supported his commitment to judo and continue to do so today. At the peak of his career, Geesink and his family spent much of their time in Japan, where he learned from the traditional masters of his sport.
Of course, I have learned a lot of the Japanese, because it is people, they are very strong to become patient. And before, I never took time to sit and thinking about things what I have done on the mat. But in Japan, I learned it. I took a lot of good things from the Japanese. But I don't think I don't take the Japanese philosophy, because judo for me have nothing to do with martial art, my way of judo. My way of judo is a sport.
Japan, 1964. For the first time in history, judo is an Olympic sport. Before 15,000 spectators, Geesink defeated his Japanese opponent, Kaminaga, in open competition.
For me, it was a must, and that could be possible the first time in my life that an international tournament was a must for me to win. If the Olympics have not a positive result, then the critical people of 61 have right in their comments to say it was a mistake or it was a surprise. We are not well prepared. For this reason, I go to the Olympics with in my mind to win again and to show them, to become world champion in '61, was not a lucky punch.
Hessink retired from competition in 1967. Following a great tradition in the martial arts, he turned to teaching.
The most beautiful thing what I have done in my life is teaching. I was a teacher on the Academy of Physical Education of Amsterdam. Teaching and be busy with people is one of the most important things in my life. But it takes that much time that you don't have much time to take care of yourself. But you still are happy with it.
Deze naar binnen. Nee, naar binnen, naar binnen, naar binnen. Nee, naar binnen.
Today, Hessink's world still revolves around judo. His stature in sport has elevated him to membership of the International Olympic Committee, the governing body of the Olympic movement.
I have worked very hard to make from judo an Olympic sport. That means an Olympic sport based on historical values, but with a modern methodology. That means biomechanical aspect and social. Until '64, I think I won altogether 20 times European champion. And I was already world champion. I was already a couple of times the Sportsman of the Year of the Netherlands. If they want, remember me. If they don't want, remember me, it doesn't bother me either. But if they want to remember me, it will be nice if they say he was a man, he pays attention to everybody, and is a person with social feelings. That's the only thing, not more and not less.
Flatten that tummy! Firm it up! Trim the waistline! Hi, I'm Denise Austin. Join me at Le Sport, the Body Holiday, a fun-filled beach resort in the Caribbean, where we'll be getting fit.
Getting Fit with Denise Austin is brought to you by Theragran M, a high-potency multivitamin formula that's fine-tuned for the way you live, and by Diet Right Cola. Great taste with no caffeine, no sugar, no salt, and no calories. Living right, diet right. And by Neat Cream Hair Remover, the best way to feel neat all over.
Welcome to Le Sport, the spectacular island spa on sunny St. Lucia. Take a body holiday on the sands of Caribou Beach or splash in its unspoiled azure waters. As equatorial breezes blow through the British West Indies, exercise with your personal trainer, Denise Austin.
Today we'll start with our warm-up, go into high-energy aerobics, and we're going to work on our legs today to firm up those thighs.
Beauty and the beach, when we come back on Getting Fit.
Denise Austin knows how to live right.
Diet Right is my favorite diet drink for a lot of reasons. It has no sugar, no caffeine, and no salt. And it's nice to know Diet Right comes in delicious fruit flavors. And that's all the more reason to love it. Live right, diet right.
Diet Right with NutraSweet.
201 exercise videos, now available to you in the complete guide to exercise videos. All your favorite instructors, aerobics, toning, and stretch. For your stomach, thighs, hips, and upper body. Prices from $14.95 with detailed objective information. The exact exercise segment length, the precise workout level, the instructor, music, and equipment needed. Now, yours free for a limited time. Call today, 1-800-526-2525.
Planning.